Hello everyone, welcome. Today I want to make a short video about meditation. Meditation is the most natural thing you can do. As natural as breathing. But we don't meditate properly because we don't live properly. You see, to meditate properly is to be in the Spirit, to breathe with the Spirit, to live and move and have your being in God's Spirit and His life. He gives you life. We already have a life, don't we? We have an animal life, which we were given. We share it with dogs and monkeys and deer and so on, birds. Well, it has its place, but there's also a higher life, the true life, and that life is living in God, with God, and loving God and getting to know God, and in return receiving His grace, His approval, His blessing. And so that's the meditative life. It's just natural. This is breathing. It's like falling off a log. There used to be an old expression, as easy as falling off a log. If you want to see something that's close to that, very, very close actually, just look at little children. If they haven't been corrupted and emotionalized and upset and traumatized. When little children are natural, they run and jump and play, discover at lightning speed, live in the present. They're full of love. And everything comes naturally to them, doesn't it? They naturally, when they're hungry, they want to eat. And then they run and play. And then they do something else. And then they do something else. That's the way life ought to be. Natural, easy, natural and easy. And the meditative life is the same. But where do we hang out? We who have been emotionalized and traumatized and corrupted. It's not our fault. Because we were born to fallen parents who messed up. And they were born to fallen to their parents who messed up, all the way back to Adam and Eve. So we live in a fallen world with imperfect people, and then we resent them. That's our biggest mistake. We resent them. And we're willful. We want to have our will to be done. We have a little touch of pride that we get from Adam and Eve. Where'd they get it? They got it from the serpent. Little touch of pride. We want our will to be done. We get angry and frustrated, and we resent other people when they don't do our will. See? Well, that can become a lifelong occupation. Resenting other people, hating them, and then feeling guilty for judging them and hating them and resenting them, and then being extra nice to them to make up for it, and then hating them again. Like that, become a, what do they call that, codependent? A lot of people have most people have a codependent relationship with everything. Their partner, their parents, their kids, their work, friends, their stuff, their pills, their booze, their marijuana, everything. Because you want something from it. You want something from it, and then when it doesn't give you what you want, you hate it. And then you hate it and you feel guilty for hating it. Like that. So what you have to see is that you're not living the natural life. The life of motion and rest in God. Motion that comes from God and rests in God. Instead, you're living a false life that begins with outside tease and then tension, and then a search for release of the tension, a life of pain, and then looking for pleasure, which is relief of the pain, life of resenting others, and then feeling guilty, wanting to make up to them for the, see what I mean? So you have a totally different life cycle. See? Excitement, tension, release. Fatigue, sleep. Excitement, tension, release, fatigue, sleep. That's basically life. So there's a whole another life based on motion and rest. Begins from God in stillness, just like a newborn babe. That life of a newborn, the life, the vibrant life of the child and the babe and the child and the teen and the young adult and the adult. That life, that whole life is a, what's the word I want? Is an unfolding from stillness in the womb. And your life from God must begin in stillness. It begins from God, then through you, your motion, see, is from God, and then you rest in God. And so what we can do is we can sort of imitate that a little bit, and want it, but only through the grace of God, with the help of the little simple meditation, where you learn to sit still and get out of your thoughts, of your imagination, where you're planning and scheming and wanting to make things happen, and wanting to lord it over others and impress others and prove something, clean up your messes. Playing God, in other words. Get out of your imagination and all your worries, and just sit quietly in the present. You close your eyes, look at the inside of your eyelids, see the little pixels of light, little particles of light on the inside of your eyelids. When you do that, suddenly you're not in your imagination anymore. Now you're in the present. And there's light there, isn't there? Light, spiritual light from God. Now you're sitting quietly in the present moment. And in that present, in that stillness, you may be touched by God. And when you are, then from that moment forth, you learn to live in God and with God and from God and to God. Okay? Very beautiful, very simple. So the meditative life begins in stillness, is the natural, is the way humans ought to be. And it goes on forever, like a little child grows, develops, and learns. So the soul would grow forever, learning of God and loving God. My name is Roland.